Welcome back to the Debrief, everyone. A lot of chatter this week about the availability of the genetic test at a prominent local drugstore. This chain was going to put this test right on the shelves. Federal regulators have slowed that down a bit, but we still wanted to get to the heart of the story. Dr. Arnold Pallay is the medical director of the Changebridge Associates firm out in Montville, New Jersey, correct?
Correct, right.
Doctor, thanks for coming in today.
Nice to be here, thanks.
First of all, explain to us, and you've explained to us, people are misunderstanding this. This is not simply the first time genetic testing is going to be available to the public, but it was going to go in a big drugstore and be right there in the counter.
David, absolutely correct. You know, genetic testing has been available for many years. We've had testing, BRCA testing is one of the most commonly known through a certain laboratory, testing for breast cancer, genetic testing, and it's a blood specimen done in a doctor's office. Well, the last number of years, several companies through the internet primarily have offered genetic testing using saliva or part of your cheeks, some cells inside there that you send off and use it through online purposes. This new company has tried an interesting new marketing maneuver that they would sell it at a certain drugstore chain, and at that chain you would go on aisle 3, take out a packet. This is something like you might get, and it's a specimen containing saliva in this case, and the person home would send this out.
All right. Now, and just let me back up for a second. This kind of testing can indicate what, for example?
Well, what it can indicate is many kinds of conditions of genetic predisposition. So we know through DNA analysis, we've uncovered the human genome, that there are many diseases, well-known breast, ovarian, and colon cancer, but now many conditions, including diabetes, for example, heart disease, David, even glaucoma. We can do genetic testing to determine the likelihood that you will, through your life, contract and get glaucoma, for example. So the point of these tests is they're informational, they're interesting, but I have to caution. I think it's important that a health professional, your doctor, your family doc, should be the one to help advise you through this.
And that seemed to be the red flag that was raised among others this week, that if just the results of the testing in a vacuum, if you will, could be kind of problematic for certain people.
It doesn't mean you will have diabetes, you will get colon cancer. It means there's a higher suggestion or less, as the case may be, and your information, it's a piece of a puzzle, Dave, you understand? So we need to know that as we're looking for testing for you, screening you for various things. Am I looking harder for that? Or am I looking less hard based upon genetic testing?
Hey, Dr. Pallay, what did we know about privacy issues as well? You send this off to a private company, but then what happens with the results?
Privacy is important. Now, the good thing is most of these companies are very strict about what's called CLIA certification and HIPAA privacy rules. And there is a law that was passed in 2008, GINA, the GINA law, that prohibits use of this information and prohibits any rating by insurance companies. But let me tell you, it is a bit of a wormhole here that this information is on portals on the internet. I think it's secure, there's encryption, but again, is the general public able to do this? I'm a little bit uncertain about that.
Dr. Pallay, thanks for coming in. You really sorted through it for us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We may have to have you visit as this issue unfolds.
Love to.
All right, when we come back, Jen Millman from NBCNewYork.com, and I will not be hitting her with softball questions. I'm really going to bring it to her. Stay with us.
Genetic test kits have been available on the internet direct to consumers for several years. But when Walgreens recently announced it would sell them through its 6,000 drugstores, the FDA stepped in to say not so fast. Health and medical correspondent Sarah Lee Kessler has more on this controversy.
These personal DNA kits, which are available both on the internet and through doctors' offices, claim to be able to tell if you have an elevated risk of up to 180 diseases.
There's neurologic diseases. There's the standard like breast, ovarian, prostate cancer. But now we're adding things like diabetes testing. We can check for the risk of heart disease, even glaucoma.
Walgreens wants you to be able to buy them through their pharmacies while you're shopping for tissues and toothpaste. Would this be something you'd be interested in?
I think it would be something I would be interested in, just because I definitely, if I want to have children, I want to know what I could pass on to them, any bad diseases like Alzheimer's.
I'm not sure if I'd want to get it through a drugstore. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Apparently, neither is the federal government. All of a sudden, the FDA is saying that these personal DNA kits, which have never been regulated, should be. So Walgreens, which had planned to start selling a test kit made by Pathway Genomics, has been forced to postpone that launch.
Blow it out. Take a big breath.
Dr. Arnold Pallay, a family physician who offers genetic testing through his Morris County Medical Office, says relying on a drugstore for DNA testing could be risky.
It has potential benefits, but some people, as you know, are going to do that testing, and they're going to be very scared when they get a result that's positive and they have not spoken to a health professional.
One issue in general with personal genetics tests like these is whether they're diagnostic or simply provide a patient with more information. More information is what Lionel Ruland, a 42-year-old North Jersey man, is seeking.
I've always been suffering with my weight problems, and I have a family history of diabetes. So it's good to know that if I have a chance of getting diabetes, I can be more aggressive with weight loss right now.
Genetics is a piece of the puzzle. That's what DNA is. Lifestyle, environment, where you work, where you live, we all know has a tremendous impact. So no one should suppose that by getting a DNA test that says you're more likely to get, let's say, Alzheimer's disease, means you will get Alzheimer's disease.
That's why Dr. Pallay says it's important for a healthcare professional to interpret the results. Sarah Lee Kessler, NJN News, Montville.